A fission reaction, which creates products that continue the same reaction repeatedly. Chain reaction. In science, a chain reaction is a process where the products of a reaction cause more reactions to occur in a continuous cycle. Imagine you're trying to clean your house, but as you tidy one room, you accidentally mess up another, creating a never-ending cycle of cleaning. This situation is similar to a fission reaction, where the splitting of an atomic nucleus releases energy and produces smaller nuclei that trigger further reactions. Just as each room you clean somehow leads to more mess elsewhere, each fission event releases particles that cause additional nuclei to split, perpetuating the cycle. The time it takes for half the atoms of a radioactive isotope to decay. Half-life. Half-life is the time needed for half of a sample of a radioactive substance to break down into another element. Imagine you're trying to eat a giant chocolate cake all by yourself, but you can only eat half of what's left each day. Just like how it takes you progressively longer to finish the cake because you keep having your daily consumption, a radioactive isotope takes a specific amount of time to decay half of its atoms. In this analogy, the cake represents the radioactive isotope. The act of eating represents the decay process. And the time it takes to eat half of the remaining cake each day mirrors the half-life, showing how both processes involve halving over consistent intervals. The splitting of an atomic nucleus into smaller nuclei and neutrons, this releases energy. Nuclear fission is a process where a heavy nucleus breaks apart to release lots of energy. Imagine trying to untangle a tightly knotted ball of yarn that's been sitting in your drawer for years. Just like when you finally pull apart that stubborn knot, releasing a cascade of smaller, more manageable strands of yarn, nuclear fission involves splitting a tightly bound atomic nucleus into smaller nuclei and neutrons. The energy released when the knot is untangled, allowing the yarn to flow freely, is like the energy released during nuclear fission when the nucleus splits, freeing up energy that was previously trapped in that tight configuration. The combining of two nuclei to form a single nucleus, this releases energy. Nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion is a process where two light atomic nuclei merge to form a heavier nucleus, releasing a large amount of energy, like in the sun. Imagine trying to combine two small balls of dough to make one larger, more robust ball for baking. This is similar to nuclear fusion, where two small atomic nuclei merge to form a single, larger nucleus. Just as combining dough balls can create a larger, more useful piece of dough for your baking needs, when two atomic nuclei combine, they release energy, providing a more stable nucleus, much like creating a perfect dough ball ready for baking. The ability of an unstable nucleus to emit radiation. Radioactivity. It is the process where unstable atoms release energy in the form of particles or rays to become stable. Imagine you're trying to balance a stack of books that keeps wobbling because it's not stable. Just like the stack of books, an unstable atomic nucleus is also in a precarious state and seeks stability. In both cases, the wobbly stack will eventually topple over or require you to remove some books to stabilize it, just as the unstable nucleus achieves stability by emitting radiation in the form of particles or energy, thereby altering its structure. A particle made of two protons and two neutrons, it is emitted from a radioactive nucleus. Alpha particle. An alpha particle is a type of radiation often described as a tiny, fast-moving helium nucleus emitted by certain radioactive materials. Imagine you're trying to declutter your closet, removing items you no longer need to make room for new ones. This process is similar to how a radioactive nucleus emits an alpha particle to become more stable. Just like getting rid of an old sweater makes your closet more organized, the nucleus emits an alpha particle, comprised of 2 protons and 2 neutrons, to achieve a more stable state. In both cases, releasing something unnecessary helps restore balance and order to the system, whether it's your cramped closet or an unstable atomic nucleus. A high-energy electron emitted by a radioactive nucleus. Beta particle. A beta particle is a fast-moving electron released during the radioactive decay of certain nuclei. Imagine you're at a crowded party and someone urgently needs to leave, so they push their way through the throng of people to reach the exit. This situation is similar to a beta particle, which is a high-energy electron emitted by a radioactive nucleus trying to become more stable. Just like the person at the party finding their way out through the crowd, the beta particle is the electron that escapes the nucleus's crowded protons and neutrons, releasing energy as it makes its way out into the open environment.